So recently I reviewed the Mountain to Coast R1s, got awesome feedback, and I really love the shoes, so I went and got myself a pair of their S1s as well, and this will be a review of the Mountain to Coast S1 Daily Trainer for Road Ultramarathon. Now, although I love the S1 pretty much just as much as I love the R1, I have to say right from jump, I understand why so many of my friends were confused on which one to get. Should we get the S1 or the R1? And that's really the main point that I have to say. I'm kind of confused by this shoe. I don't really know. I think they came out in pretty close proximity, but I really wish that these shoes were just one shoe, and then maybe the company had a trail shoe as well. I'll talk about what I really mean by that. I feel like there was extra features put into the R1 and some things that could have been left out of the S1. I find myself still grabbing the R1 for a couple different reasons, but like I said, in no way, shape, or form do I not like the S1. I like it a lot. This one's just a little bit better for the things that I need, and I'll talk about what really do I mean here. So although this is a review, it's really a comparison when people are trying to choose, do we go with the R1 or the S1? First and foremost, guys, I feel like this shoe is definitely more stable than the R1s. So if you're somebody that's looking for stability, which is great for a daily trainer, then the S1 is the direction that you want to go. I definitely feel that stability. Also, the stiffness in the shoe is pretty much the same. These are a little less stiff than the R1s, which the R1s are listed as their race shoe. And in a race shoe, we're definitely going to want a little bit more stiffness for a little bit more propulsion. But to the average everyday runner, I don't think you're really going to be able to tell the major difference in the stiffness between the two shoes. But they're definitely not floppy. They definitely have a little bit of body with them. As far as the weight, guys, they're both very lightweight shoes, all right? So, like I said, if this standing alone, I would consider a very lightweight daily training shoe. This one is just really light, and what I love about it. And I feel like we could have made this shoe pretty much the exact same weight as the R1. It has a nice little protective toe plate, but guys, this is for road. So why do we need to add this extra weight? It's not on the R1, and I haven't banged my toes yet. Like I said, not really unpredictable terrain on the road. So I'm not sure really why we have this protective bumper plate on here. I can understand the back one because that's what's giving that extra little bit of stability. So I don't mind that. But we also have like little flare pieces, like this little like tag, I guess, to put this up, which is not on the R1. Also too, we have the way they have their laces. Okay, so we have like an overlay that the laces go through, which is different than the R1s as well. And I feel like we can use what we used on the R1 here on the S1. Like I said, just a little bit of areas that add a little bit of unnecessary weight, in my opinion. The outsoles on the shoes are very similar. I don't see any real difference in grip. I do like the grip on both of them, but they seem pretty similar to me. I haven't noticed anything in the conditions that I'm running in that make me say this is more grippy or less grippy than one or the other. I also feel like on the R1, after running in the S1, although I do love the dual lace technology of the R1, I feel like it's just an added flare piece that we really wouldn't necessarily need when we're making a $160 shoe and a $140 shoe. Maybe we could put these together and just make one $150 shoe. I'm going to shoot over to their website now and just show you a couple of things to see if I agree with them. One thing people don't realize is that you can get these in different colors, guys. You can get them in black as well. But here are some of the stats that we have for the S1. We have protective toe cap. Like I said, we don't really have unpredictable terrain on the road. I think we could drop that and maybe take a couple grams off the shoe. Adjustive wrapper, offer midsole support for supreme comfort. Very comfortable shoe. Both the S1s and the R1s, as far as comfort, they're really nice. The TPU heel cage improves stability, keep you on track. Like I said, definitely a more stable shoe. So if you're looking for stability, then S1 of the Daily Trainer, that's true to form right here on the website. If we're looking at the weight of the S1s, 265 grams for a men's US 9. I believe the R1s are 240. We'll look at that again. The 10 millimeter heel to toe drop. So we have a stack height of 36 millimeters and a toe stack height of 26 millimeters for that 10. That is a pretty big stack height, even for the road. I'm really only seeing these huge stack heights in maybe the brooks and things like that. I've moved closer to the 4 to 6 stack height range, but that's mostly for trail and a little bit more feel. Once again, not a huge deal on the road, but also this stack height is going to be a little bit more than the R1. I believe 8 millimeters. We'll take a look at that comparison in a second. But 2 millimeters, I don't know if you're necessarily going to feel, but over a long distance ultra, your body is definitely going to understand the difference between, say, a 4 millimeter drop up to a 10. So if you're going to be making big jumps in stack height, that's something to keep in mind, that you're going to have to work into that shoe and let the body adapt. Just looking at the R1s again, guys, like I said, 240 here and 8 millimeters here. So a little less stack height, definitely lighter. And I can feel that light in the R1 compared to the S1, but like I mentioned, they're both very, very light shoes for what they want to do. So I don't think you should really be thinking like, oh, that one's so much heavier. That should not be a deal breaker for you. When I talk about cushion here, here's the R1. We can kind of see in a little bit of between balanced and plush. And when we compare, they have the same exact rating for their cushion on the S1 as we do for the R1. I'm going to say that's false right now. I definitely feel more cushion in the R1. So I think we could keep this because it's a little bit more than balanced. It's definitely a nice cushion, but it's definitely not plush. I would probably keep this cushion where it is on the S1, and I would move even the cushion on the R1 a little bit more to the plush side. Not super plush, but just a little bit more to show a little bit difference in the cushion. When we go to stability in the R1s compared to the S1s, like I mentioned, there's definitely that more stability inside the S1 as composed to the R1. I don't think a moderate rating here is out of line for the R1. I think that's spot on. And like I said, this stability, it's not super stable like say like a Brooks GTS Adrenaline, but they are definitely a little bit more on the stability side of the R1s. For the S1, they say best for training sessions of 100K or below. On the R1s, they say races of 100 kilometers and above, maybe multi-day races. Like I said, they are definitely a long-distance shoe. I've run over 50Ks at a time, multiple times inside the R1. The most I've pushed the S1 right now is about 18 to 20 miles. I am going to be doing a 50K in them soon to really test that out. But both shoes are going to be great for a daily trainer. Like I said, the R1s are just a little bit more high end. They tend to be their race shoe because of that extra lightness and things like that. But I would frankly just love them as a nice daily training shoe. And that's another, if I was sitting on the board of Mount to Coast, I would really say by just calling them an ultra shoe, I feel like we are eliminating such a huge portion of the running scene. People hear the word ultra and they're like, I'm just a marathoner. These shoes are not for me. I think they're an amazing shoe for both daily training long runs and also racing. So I think if we drop the Road Ultra, which is very, very gimmicky and definitely helps people stand out, but I think we're cutting too many people out. I just know from personal experience, I've had so many friends say, yeah, but those are a Road Ultra shoe and I don't run ultras. And I'm like, they'll do you just fine, even for your long runs, and the S1s for your daily training if you are running on a regular basis. The stack height on the R1 is a little different, 35-27 as opposed to 36. You are not going to notice a 1 millimeter difference in the stack height. I will mention one thing, lastly, let me just grab these about the two uppers of the shoes. They look a little bit different, but the uppers for me, they are great as far as the summer heat. I don't feel them to be really warm. I have not run in wet conditions, so I don't know if they drain. But as you saw in the R1 video, when we shine a light through both of these shoes, the upper is great for airflow in and out of the shoe, and I don't think your feet are going to overheat in them. If you have any questions about the S1, please leave them down in the comment section below. I will also link the R1 so you can see that full review. As I mentioned, I wish these would just become one shoe, and then maybe they would put some money in research and development towards a trail shoe. Mount to Coast, can we get a trail shoe, please? Because if they make a trail shoe with the amount of comfort that the R1 and the S1 give, I think I'm going to be a one company shoe kind of guy. That's going to be me. All right? Hope you liked the video, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.